Mufasa is here, but this Lion King might not be roaring into theaters. The Walt Disney Company has attempted a very interesting strategy of once again holding film reviews using an embargo to stop critics from telling audiences they might not want to go see Simba's dad. We'll tell you why the Moana 2 strategy is back and making audiences sad, and we'll do it right now. Hakuna Matata, folks. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we as ever endeavor to explain entertainment, keep you ahead of the culture curve, and bring truth to an industry in need. Today, we're going to be talking about Mufasa the Lion King, and it could be losing to Sonic 3. The jig is up, and the Cubs are out. It turns out that, well, this might not be the kind of movie that makes audiences shout, and Moana 2 could have blown the cover for it all along. We'll explain why things could be going wrong for Bob Iger, Barry Jenkins, and the rest. Folks, click the like button. Here we go. Let's get to the news, though, because we must, because the news never stops, and neither do we. This is the response from one Alan Ng out of Film Threat after having watched Lion King. Wow, that was awful.
Gotta love it. Blunt and to the point.
Gotta love it. All right, I'm going to look right now and see if Rotten Tomatoes has not updated yet. So I have this prepared, folks. Take a look. We can go to the Hollywood Reporter now because reviews are coming out, and you'll notice that the review came out at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So the embargo lifted 22 minutes ago. Rotten Tomatoes has not yet updated, and I'm really, really interested in what's going to happen with Rotten Tomatoes, because I wonder if they're going to slow walk the update to the website, because this is not going well. All right, so you saw that Film Thread and Alan Ng, even before they could put out their official review, they said awful. This is out of the Hollywood Reporter. Remember that the trades, Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, Variety, etc., they carry the corporate message. So here's the corporate message that you're supposed to believe. This is the orthodoxy that's going to be allowed. Mufasa the Lion King review. Barry Jenkins can't quite save Disney's scattered prequel. So let's review again the corporate message, right? Because they're not just coming out and saying, holy moly, it's terrible. Instead, Barry Jenkins, corporate message again, he's got to be presented in a positive light because they want to protect him. So he can't quite save, although he's the one who did all of this. I mean, it's not like he was brought in the end to fix it. No, he's been there the whole time. So, but the way it's going to be presented to us from the trades, from Hollywood, is that Barry Jenkins just cannot save Disney's scattered prequel. And so the idea here is that the story is just too big. It's just too much. And Barry, he came in and tried to fix it. It was a Herculean task, but he came close. He just couldn't quite save it. This is by Lovia Giarki, and it says, Beyonce Knowles, Carter, Blue Ivy Carter, and Kelvin Harrison Jr. lend their voices to the live-action animated origin story about the young cat who becomes Simba's royal father. A noticeable uneasiness burdens Mufasa the Lion King, the most recent artifact of Disney's avaricious intellectual property mining. You know, I just want to pause for a minute. I want to thank you. Lovia, I have not had the chance to say avaricious in a very long time. Thank you so much. The thesaurus was used for this article. The bemoaned follow-up to Jon Favreau's condemned 2019 live-action remake of the beloved 1994 film, Mufasa probes the principled lion's biography and explains his lethal feud with his brother Scar. But the Barry Jenkins-directed project is mostly a site of strained encounters between a visionary Helmer and his corporate shareholders. Folks, in this show today, you need to stay with us because the corporate media is furious at Disney. And you need to understand that as we're reading all of this, it is going to come through a lens of how angry the mainstream is at Disney in the last 24 to 48 hours. Now, we'll explain that. We're not going to right now because we got to talk Lion King, but they are furious at Bob Iger. I mean, they are apoplectic. They are livid. And so Disney is going to take the blame here. Barry Jenkins is not going to take the blame. And Lion King is going to come out, it's going to be scathed, but it's not going to be ravenously picked apart, but Disney will be. That's the plan. That's the plan. Now, if we go over, we'll go to Rotten Tomatoes real quick, folks. You can see we have not yet received an updated tomato meter, popcorn meter. In fact, we have no reviews. Wait. We've got 2 reviews that have 3 reviews. Folks, we've got reviews. I just refreshed this before we started. So let's take a look at what we've got here. We don't have this aggregated yet. Why they're not aggregating, I don't know. But they're not aggregating yet. So if we go to critics' reviews, from Newsday, we've got a 2.5 out of 4. From E.J. Moreno of Flickering Myth, we have a splat. No number, just a splat. Let's go here and see. Okay, so if we click on the reviews, where it's supposed to give us the reviews, we don't. Okay. Well, this just, Rotten Tomatoes, you're just smelly. I'm going to splat you. You get splatted today, Rotten Tomatoes. So they have the reviews. Isn't this so fun? We can see the reviews, but we can't go look at the reviews where the reviews should be. Screen Rant gives it a 7 out of 10. Access Media, no surprise. Jason Flatt gives it a splat. That's appropriate. USA Today, 3 out of 4. Chicago Sun-Times, Richard Roper. We give Roper a lot of credence. 3 out of 4. So that's not bad. But again, to go back to Film Threat, Alan Ing says, wow, that was awful. It's not mediocre. It's not just poor. Alan says, wow, it's awful.
All respect to Richard Roper, but I respect Alan's opinion on this a lot more than I do Richard Roper, because it's a Disney film and he knows the curve when it comes to Disney films here.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. Alan's very, locked in with Disney. And, if he says something Disney is bad, then it's bad. It's really bad if Alan says it's bad.
Absolutely.
And essentially, this is an animated film. And for it to be that boring, Disney should not be failing so hard on an animated film with songs by Lin-Manuel Miranda. This is a film that on paper should be an easy billion for them. So for this to be garbage, this Matt Singer from Screen Crush to say, be prepared for a disappointing prequel.
Jonas, hold on a second. I want to bounce off what you're saying. The original, well, not the original, the live action, not really. The CGI remake, see what I did there, folks? The Jon Favreau version that came out in 2019, it made what, $2 billion? I mean, it was a crazy number. Was it 1 point? It wasn't that much. It was
1.6. I want to say 1.6, yeah.
Okay. So this one, when you say it should make $1 billion, like, yeah, that's an obvious thing. It would take like a 50% decline to get it under the $1 billion mark. I'm simplifying, folks, but something like that. We're talking about a dramatic decline at a time when ticket prices are dramatically higher. So this should easily break $1 billion. Right now, it is projected to open to something like 55 million. And that is dropping as these reviews drop. Allison Foreman from IndieWire, despite Jenkins' track record and clear artistic touch, the light of Favreau's semi-success taints everything. All it touches here. I don't know how the grammar works on that, but okay, I'll go with it. And these reviews are coming in. Rotten Tomatoes still is not putting up the tomato meter or popcorn meter. So this is the Moana 2. This is the Moana 2 idea, right? And we can see what happened with Moana 2. They held the reviews. They had a dramatic, positive first week, and then it plateaued, and it plateaued again, and it's following exactly what we have said and Valiant Renegade have said.
All right.
Moana 2, which should be an easy $1 billion, is going to struggle to get 800 million. And that might be coming again. Jonas, Moana 2 needs a blessing, and it might be what is causing Disney to have some fessing up to do with Lion King Mufasa, because Moana has stalled out. Now, it's not a terrible film, but it's a 4 out of 10. It's mediocre. It's not worthy of the original. And I think that this might be what is causing people to say, and we're talking about normies, by the way, they might be saying, let's go see Sonic 3 instead. That Moana wasn't that great. I really don't want to do The Lion King. Oh, no. Stop, everybody. Jonas, are you ready? We need to play the breaking news clip. There it is. There it is. 53% opening. They've updated it finally. It took them 35 minutes after the review embargo was lifted, and Mufasa comes in with a splat. Not even the Moana effect can save them. Where I thought that people were being very generous to Moana 2, that's over with Mufasa. And as much as the Hollywood Reporter wants to protect Barry Jenkins, I don't see that happening now. because if you take The Lion King and you turn it rotten, and this is going to be a huge budget, and it listen, with this kind of a score, it will be a loser to Sonic. And having The Lion King lose to Sonic is a big deal for Disney. It has ramifications far beyond just the box office. It has merchandising ramifications. It has prestige and PR issues. Panel, I'll hand it to you. What do you make of this?
You know, I think that it's still possible that Mufasa will bully its way to beat Sonic this weekend, just because it has a monopoly on the IMAX, the 4DX, the Dolby theaters. That, you know, so more people could see Sonic, but Mufasa could still make more money. But I mean, my heart's choice is Sonic. Now, I don't think the Sonic reviews are out yet either, but it's got to be better than this, right? I mean,
yeah, Sonic releases a day later than Lion King, so that's not surprising. And I'm going to bet that a lot of the critics wanted to get the Mufasa review out there first. The first weekend, I agree with you, Marvin. Disney may be able to muscle Mufasa above Sonic using their contractual abilities with theaters, where Mufasa is going to get all of the best screens. But after that first week, that's when it's going to be very tough for Mufasa to leg out at all. And Sonic's just going to run loop-de-loops around this. Because if you, to go back to the drop that we saw with Moana, once people understood that it wasn't that great, right? You can see that. You can see it opened up to this phenomenal first week, and everybody thought it was going to, break $1.5 billion. Well, it's going to barely break 800 million. So multiply that effect with Mufasa, because people already aren't interested in this. We've seen that Sonic is outpacing it in terms of enthusiasm. So this might be able to muscle out the first 3 days, muscle out Sonic 3. After that, I think it's going to perform quite well. Panel, what do our other esteemed guests here have to say about their guess for how Mufasa will play?
I don't know anybody that wanted to see a Mufasa movie anyway. I don't know a single soul that wanted this movie. I don't know why this movie is made. And at the end of the day, when you have ratings like this, where it's 53% opening, that's bad, man. That's really bad. The critics are not, I don't think the critics are in the tank for this thing like they probably normally would be. It's not going to get good word of mouth because nobody's going to go and watch it. But Sonic seems like it has all the juice. It has all the energy. I just did a video about it where there's a reaction from the theaters, from some folks that got to see an early viewing of Sonic, and they're like begging to see it again. They're like, oh my God, like I can't wait to see this movie again. This thing is amazing. Like people are already buzzing about it. Pure passion and emotion. And that's what Sonic is versus Mufasa. They're going to talk about the breathtaking scenery and all that stuff, and nobody's going to care. People want excitement. This is Christmas time. People want to have a good time, have fun. That's what Sonic is. So yeah, I think Sonic's going to blow this movie out of the water. I think it's going to be a landslide. Maybe not the first weekend, like you were saying, but over the course of both of their box office runs, I think Sonic's going to, like you said, run rings around Mufasa. I think this thing is over already.
Yeah, I would agree with Derek on that. I have no desire to see this movie. I never have had a desire to see this movie because I don't really care. I would have probably had somewhat of a desire to see this movie had it been an animated, like a traditionally animated film, whether that was, and especially if they went hand drawn. Oh my gosh, like that'd be totally different because
prequel to the actual Lion King instead of a prequel to the John Favreau Lion King.
Exactly. That would have been worth seeing at the box office, but this is pointless because first of all, the live action actually animated version of the Lion King, it's like the songs aren't as good. The original Lion King, the animated version is spectacular, and you don't want to do something related to that doesn't equal it, and this can't even come close, and it's going up against Sonic. Here's my thought about the bigger screen theaters. If the IMAXs and the Dolbys, the 4DXs, if they're only 10% to 25% full because of Mufasa, are they really going to make more? Is it really going to make more than Sonic? I think Sonic has a chance to beat this even in the first weekend, definitely in the long run. My family, we're going to see Sonic 3. We've been looking forward to it for a long time. I'm looking forward to Jim Carrey playing two different, Mr. Eggman roles. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a blast.
Excuse me, that's Dr. Eggman, sir.
Yeah, he
Doctor-
didn't go to Egg.
sorry.
He didn't go to Egg
Sorry,
Medical
Dr.
School to be
Eggman.
called Mister.
How dare both of
Doc.
them?
Sorry.
Robotnik. It'll always be Robotnik.
Robotnik.
Now, there is one thing I want to throw in here. There was an executive at Disney who was not renewed. His name was Sean Bailey, and he was in charge of the live action segment of the Walt Disney Company. In this article out of the New York Times, Sean Bailey, in an interview with him, says Mufasa the Lion King photorealistic prequel directed by Barry Jenkins, scheduled for release in 2024. They technically made that deadline. Mr. Bailey said The Lion King could expand into a big epic saga like the Star Wars franchise. There's a lot of room to run if we can find the stories. I'm just going to say this guy is no longer at the Walt Disney Company, probably with good reason.
Hey,
Yeah.
was like a week or so ago or 2 weeks ago, weren't like all the people that had seen it early, raving about how it's going to be a game changer and how it's this wonderful theatrical romp and this, that, and the other thing? Where are those people right now?
That's a great question. I think let's
They're
get-
watching Sonic.
Jonas, I wanted you to wrap this. We got to wrap this conversation up. We'll come back to it if it's newsworthy. But Jonas, what does it mean in the long term for Sonic and for Paramount? Because we covered the other day that Paramount is finally starting to take the lead in front of Disney for original content on streaming. What does it mean if they find the ability to have a Sonic Universe franchise for movie making, and they begin to wrestle some of the boy demographic, the boy family demographic away from Disney?
Well, I mean, you look at everything that Paramount has right now. They do have Transformers, and Transformers 1, while it failed at the box office, that is a brand that I've never heard a child speak ill of. Now, there were some aspects of that the language is a little strong for a kid's film, but Transformers 1, legitimately good filmmaking. Sonic the Hedgehog, another boy brand that could do really well. I think that Paramount being bought out by Skydance means that they all of a sudden the chains are off of them as far as funding goes, because you have that Larry Ellison Oracle money behind them. They've got a big line of credit in order to make movies over there. Sonic the Hedgehog, if they wanted to make movie merchandise, and they've only scratched the surface of merchandising those films here, because I mean, you'll see a stand with some Sonic stuff here, but Sonic the Hedgehog 3 hitting right before the holiday, there's no coincidence that kids are interested in Sonic the Hedgehog, and they don't care a thing. There's nothing marketable about Mufasa the Lion King. I mean, can we point that out? Really, there is nothing uniquely marketable about Mufasa the Lion King. It is essentially a nature documentary. There is nothing in there that you can make a toy out of. So even from a cynical standpoint, I don't understand why they made this film. From an artistic standpoint, I see no reason why they made this film.
The toys would be ugly, Jonas. Like these animals, like one of the reasons that Timon and Pumbaa are so beloved in the original is because they're animated and they're cute. But they went out of their way to make the warthog ugly. And so I just don't know how who wants a plushie that's like, this scraggly looking thing that grosses you out? You don't want to put that with your kid at night. Give them nightmares.
Photorealistic is a bad path to go down. They should have learned this with Finding Nemo back in the day. There were legendary original cuts of Finding Nemo in the tests where they just looked like real fish, and they decided not to go that way, because guess what? No one cares to watch realistic fish having a journey. We're not in the Milo and Otis phase here. If you're going to be making a $250 million CGI fest about some lions, I see no reason why you can't just go the True Life Adventures route with it. But no, they would rather spend money. Sonic the Hedgehog right now is something that I cannot stop my kids from asking me, when are we going to go see this film? I tried to hide the bag that we're going to go see it on Thursday with them to say it opens on Friday, but we went to go see Moana 2. We finally saw Moana 2, and yikes, that was mediocre. But they saw the poster that said that there are actually screenings on Thursday, and now I can't get them out of my ear. They want to see Sonic the Hedgehog. It's the only thing they think about. They are aware of Lion King. They like the original movie, but they are obsessed with Sonic the Hedgehog. When they hand me the Switch and say, "Hey, Dad, can I play?" What are they playing? They're playing Sonic X Shadow Generations. This is something that is ever present in their sphere right now. And Bob Iger lost the plot entirely. Forgive me for ranting here. I know I'm going long on this, but I found out that kids play video games. Oh, baloney. You knew that kids play video games, but you didn't think you could compete in the space. You realized that parents stopped handing smartphones to little kids with your pathetic microtransaction garbage. Forgive me, not enough coffee today either. This is something where Disney has dropped the ball entirely with we did this one time and it was successful, so I guess we're going to do it again. It's cargo cult mentality. And forgive me, the idea of a Tangled movie right now, unless Zachary Levi is involved in that movie, I have no interest in it whatsoever.
Jonas, my plan is I'm going to see Sonic 3 on Friday, and I'm going to Disney Springs specifically so that I can walk past all the Mufasa ads that are going to be outside, and then purposely walk into their own house and then walk into Sonic and like strut into Sonic to aggressively not see Mufasa.
Marvin, I expect to have a video of you strutting your stuff by the Mufasa furries who are waiting to go into the theater, the Mufasa fans. Hey, Jonas, real quick, we've got breaking news. I know we're behind in our, we got to get going, folks. 58%. The reviews now are starting to come in to get this thing up above the 60 mark. They cannot let it be rotten. It can't be. So it opened with the reviews that were embedded from people who've seen it, a week ago, days ago, whatever. Now, later reviews are starting to come in. And I'm telling you, we've talked about how much Disney is willing to spend to make sure this doesn't lose to Sonic. Whatever the whining and dining takes, they're going to make sure this is not rotten. Mark my words, at least for the opening, they're going to get this back up above 60%. They will not allow it to have a splat. This baby to bed. This video is over. Turn off the lights, but not quite yet, folks, because we do ask one final thing before we say goodbye, and that is, would you consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, click it and stick it to those algorithms. It is the notification bell, and drop a comment down below. Also greatly appreciated. Anytime you would like to share this out on your favorite social media platforms, well, we would love that. And we'd also love to hear your thoughts. Folks, drop a comment down below and use that beautiful mind of yours. If you would not mind, we'd love to know what you're thinking. Also, if you would like to become a member of the channel, it's as simple as clicking the join button. It is the price of a soda per month, and you'll gain access to all kinds of new, cool, exclusive information. Folks, until the next time we have the honor of spending time with you, keep learning, keep growing, and as always, keep having fun.